The role of the U.S. government in both domestic and foreign affairs is to create a more secure, democratic, and prosperous world to benefit the American people, and highly influence the international community. The Great Depression was a period in America when business was poor and many people were out of work. In the 1920s, more production, too much credit, and stock market collapse deeply affected the financial value of the American economy. There was a wide gap between the rich and poor. There were high trades, bank failures, and financial crises around the globe. It was a real tragic time in our history, and it redefined how our government looked at large economic problems. The Great Depression led to people losing their confidence and hope. It caused unemployment and there was homelessness. The Great Depression influenced and led to today's U.S. economic system. There were laws set afterward to prevent something like that from happening again. It also produced a lot of great organization through the work of FDR. He knew that this time was hard on Americans, and through some of his programs, he gave Americans their dignity back. They set up programs to give respectable men the ability to work for money, to support their family, and keep them out of trouble. The Depression became a worldwide business slam of the 1930s that affected almost all nations. It led to a sharp decrease in the world trade as each country tried to protect their own industries and product by raising tariffs on important goods. Some nations changed their leader and their type of government. This became a worldwide global depression in places like Japan, Germany, England, and France. The economic devastation gripped the world before World War II made many governments vulnerable to take over and led to the rise of the dictators. In Italy, Mussolini held a grudge against the Treaty of Versailles and promised his people to end the Italians' economic struggles. In Germany, poor economic conditions led to the rise of the dictator Adolf Hitler. The Japanese invaded China, developing industries and mines in Manchuria. Japan climbed this economic growth to relieve the depression. This militarism of the Germans and Japanese eventually led to World War II. There were no trading, and everyone was losing money. Election of the FDR and his role in reviving the economy was very efficient. The New Deal programs and its policy of reform, recovery, and relief helped a lot of people. As the president struggled with the challenge, he did get the job done. He gave money to the banks and asked Americans to trust the banks. He also came up with the New Deal and introduced the 3 R's: reform, recovery, and relief. Where relief means to help the country, recovery means to get business and banks back on feet, reform means fix the system so crash will never happen again. The 4 most important New Deal programs were the Bank Holiday Act, Emergency Bank Act, which formed the FDIC, the Economy Act, and the farm programs, which led to the development of the AAA. They were important to the American economy during the 1930s and helped the country grow to meet its needs. The Treaty of Versailles after World War I was working for the British and the French, but on the other hand, the Germans, Japanese, and Italians were powerless and miserable. These countries adopted the fascist aggression and started Russian dictatorship. The Allied appeasement, where the British, French, and the Americans stood around and allowed the Germans, Japanese, and Italians to do whatever they want without interfering. This never worked and led to World War II. The World War II mostly took place in Europe, US, and Pacific theater. Soviet Union and other countries struggled to stop the German attack. With the Americans' technical ability, production potential, and the Allies, they began to beat back the fascist threat. This war changed America a ton economically through American government directives, as well as socially and culturally for women, youth, African Americans, Chinese Americans, and Mexican Americans. The Chinese attacked Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, because they knew the war was inevitable and that a surprise attack on such an important naval base would give them control of the Pacific theater. While the Allies worked together to end the European fighting, the Americans struggled against the Japanese. America responded by dropping atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, thus ending World War II. The world had become homeless and was suffering from the war. The United Nations was created for better diplomacy. The Jewish Holocaust wiped out most Jews, and the Jewish believing it was the right time to control and created Israel. The US and the USSR emerging as the dominating nations were trying to destroy each other, leading up to the Cold War.
lost respect for decency when one could